Have you ever wondered why a man might return after a period of no contact? Maybe you found yourself asking, what changed? Why now? Let me assure you, it's not about luck or coincidence. It's about the subtle dynamics that unfold when silence becomes your loudest message. For too long, we've been fed myths about relationships. You might have heard that to win someone back, you need to chase them, show them you care, or prove your worth repeatedly. But here's the thing. Chasing often pushes them further away. And proving your worth. You don't need to. Your worth has always been there. What if the real power lies not in what you do to bring him back, but in who you become during his absence? This is where the philosophy of Dark Stoic Psychology and Stoicism enter the scene. It's not just a mindset, it's a transformation. It's about reclaiming your emotional power, respecting boundaries, and becoming so grounded in yourself that your presence becomes irresistible. This isn't about manipulation or mind games. This is about becoming magnetic through authenticity and personal growth. In this journey, we'll uncover 9 reasons why men return after no contact. These reasons are rooted in psychology, personal evolution, and the undeniable allure of someone who thrives in silence. Each one reveals a hidden truth about attraction, and each one holds a mirror to your own untapped power. Are you ready to uncover these secrets? Because once you do, you'll never see relationships the same way again. Let's dive into the first reason, a reason that begins where most would think everything ends. Independence. 1. The magnetic power of independence. Independence. It's a word we throw around often, but how often do we truly embody it? When you step into your independence, you're not just telling the world you're capable, you're showing it. And trust me, he notices. Let's flip the narrative for a moment. Imagine him scrolling through his thoughts, maybe even your social media. He's expecting the usual, maybe signs of longing, posts that hint at regret, or a subtle plea for attention. Instead, what does he find? A version of you that's thriving, glowing, and completely focused on your own journey. This isn't about pretending to be okay. It's about genuinely living your best life, with or without him. Why does this matter so much? Because independence is intoxicating. A man doesn't want to feel like he's the center of your universe. He wants to feel like he's earned a place in your orbit. When you demonstrate that your happiness isn't contingent on his presence, you shift the power dynamic in the most graceful way. You're not waiting for him. You're too busy becoming the best version of yourself. Independence doesn't mean shutting him out or being cold. It's about standing firm in who you are. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our actions, our thoughts, and our responses. When you live by this principle, you naturally radiate confidence without arrogance, strength without force. It's the epitome of Dark Stoic Psychology, where your energy speaks louder than any words you could say. But here's the twist. Your independence isn't just about him. It's about you. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you might have lost in the relationship. It's about rediscovering your passions, reignitting your purpose, and realizing that your worth was never tied to his validation. Men are drawn to women who are self-assured, grounded, and purpose-driven. Why? Because independence shows emotional stability. It tells him you're not here to complete him, you're here to complement him. And that's a distinction that sparks genuine admiration. As the days or weeks of no contact unfold, he begins to feel the shift. You're no longer the woman who might have sought answers or closure from him. You've become someone who creates her own answers, her own joy. This transformation is magnetic. It piques his curiosity, stirs his emotions, and makes him question what he may have walked away from. Think about it. When was the last time you were so focused on yourself that you became irresistible by simply being? That's the beauty of independence. It's not about proving a point to him. It's about proving your strength to yourself. Here's a challenge for you. The next time you're tempted to reach out, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from a place of need or power? Let your independence guide your actions. Let it remind you that you're not just waiting, you're growing. When he returns, and often he will, it won't be because you chased him. It will be because you chose to thrive without him. And that choice, that's what makes you unforgettable. 2. The transformative value of time apart. Let's talk about time apart, one of the most underestimated tools in relationships. When you hear the phrase, "absence makes the heart grow fonder," it might sound cliché, but here's the truth. There's a deep psychological shift that happens when two people take time away from each other. And it's not just about missing someone, it's about gaining clarity, both for you and for him. Time apart works like a reset button. In the heat of a breakup or a rough patch, emotions can cloud judgment. Words are said, actions are taken, and clarity feels out of reach. But once the noise fades and the dust settles, that's when real reflection begins. And reflection? That's where the magic of growth and connection happens. Here's why time apart is so powerful. It forces both of you to confront the reality of what's been lost. For him, it's the space to truly see what life looks like without you. Without your presence, without your energy, and without your unique essence, a void begins to form. He starts to notice what he may have overlooked when things were easy. Maybe it's the way you made him feel seen. Maybe it's the way you lit up a room. Whatever it is, that absence becomes undeniable. But this isn't just about him. Time apart is your opportunity to grow. It's your chance to focus on you, not in a way that's performative or designed to make him notice, but in a way that's authentic and meaningful. What could you do with this time? Dive into a new hobby, reconnect with friends, explore something that sets your soul on fire. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. By embracing the philosophy of Stoicism, you shift your energy inward, choosing to control your response to the separation instead of letting it control you. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine he hasn't heard from you in weeks. He might have expected a text, a call, or some sign that you're still thinking about him. But instead, he's met with silence, not out of anger or spite, but because you've been busy building yourself up. Maybe he sees a photo of you hiking with friends, smiling brighter than ever. Maybe he hears through mutual connections that you've started a new venture or achieved a goal. Suddenly, the narrative in his mind changes. He's no longer thinking about the breakup, he's thinking about you. And that's the beauty of time apart. It creates curiosity. What's she up to? Has she moved on? Why does she seem so different? This curiosity doesn't just make him think about you, it makes him think about what he might be missing. It draws him in without you having to say a single word. Now, let's take this deeper. During this time, you're not just putting on a show, you're genuinely evolving. The Stoic principle of self-improvement reminds us that challenges, including heartbreak, are opportunities to grow. Every day apart is a chance to build something new within yourself. Maybe it's emotional resilience. Maybe it's a newfound confidence. Whatever it is, you're transforming. And transformation, that's magnetic. When he eventually reaches out, and often he will, it won't be because he misses the person you were when you parted ways. It will be because he's intrigued by the person you've become. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about becoming so undeniably radiant in your own right that he can't help but be drawn back to you. But let's be clear, this isn't a guarantee that he'll return, and that's okay. The real power of time apart isn't about getting him back, it's about what you gain for yourself. Whether he returns or not, you've used this time to grow, to evolve, and to honor your own journey. And that's the real win. So, let me ask you this. How are you using your time apart? Are you letting it pass you by, or are you seizing it to become your best self? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're transforming during this period of no contact. And if this message resonates with you, show some love by liking this video and commenting number 1 below. Your support lets me know that this kind of content speaks to you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another deep dive into relationships, stoicism, and personal growth. There's so much more to explore. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. 3. Emotional composure and patience. There's a certain strength in silence, a kind of power that's hard to describe but impossible to ignore. And in the context of no contact, it's one of the most compelling things you can cultivate. Emotional composure isn't just about keeping calm, it's about projecting an inner stability that commands respect and, yes, attraction. Let's rewind for a moment. Imagine you're in a situation where everything feels uncertain. Maybe you're tempted to send that text, make that call, or even find a way to accidentally bump into him. But then you pause. You take a breath. You realize that the power of no contact isn't in what you do, it's in what you don't do. This is where Stoicism shines. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. You can't control how he feels or whether he'll reach out, but you can control how you respond to the silence. And that response? It's everything. Emotional composure during no contact is about showing, not telling, that you're strong enough to handle the uncertainty. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about demonstrating that your sense of self isn't tied to someone else's actions. When you're grounded and patient, you send a clear message. I'm secure in who I am with or without you. Men are drawn to this kind of energy. Why? Because it's rare. In a world where emotions often lead to impulsive actions, the ability to remain calm and composed stands out. He expects desperation, pleading, or attempts to reconnect. Instead, he's met with quiet confidence. It's disarming, intriguing, and ultimately magnetic. Let's break this down further. When you don't chase, you create space, not just for him, but for yourself. That space allows you to reflect, grow, and realign with what truly matters. It also gives him the room to feel the full impact of your absence. Without the noise of constant communication, he begins to process what he's lost. He starts to wonder why you're so calm, why you're not chasing, and why you seem perfectly fine without him. And here's the secret. That patience, that quiet self-assurance, is what makes you unforgettable. It's the cornerstone of Dark Stoic Psychology. Instead of reacting out of fear, you're choosing to act or not act with purpose. You're showing that your emotions don't control you, you control them. Now, let's get real. Patience isn't easy. There will be moments when the silence feels deafening, when doubt creeps in, and when you question whether you're doing the right thing. But those moments, they're where growth happens. Every time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you're building emotional resilience. And resilience is one of the most attractive qualities you can possess. Think about it from his perspective. If you're constantly reaching out, trying to get a response, what does that signal? It shows fear, fear of losing him, fear of being alone, fear of the unknown. But when you remain composed, you show strength. You show that you're not afraid of the silence, that you're confident enough to let things unfold naturally. That kind of patience and composure doesn't just attract him, it inspires him. It makes him see you in a different light, as someone who's not easily shaken, someone who stands firm in her worth. And that's a quality that's hard to ignore. Emotional composure isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending you're unaffected. It's about acknowledging your emotions, processing them, and choosing to respond from a place of strength rather than fear. It's about understanding that your worth isn't determined by whether or not he comes back. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and entirely your own. So if you find yourself in a moment of doubt, remember this. Patience isn't about waiting. It's about preparing. It's about becoming so rooted in your own strength that whether he returns or not, you've already won. That calm, unshakable energy isn't just attractive, it's transformative. It changes how he sees you, how he feels about you, and ultimately, how he chooses to respond. In the end, emotional composure isn't just a tool for navigating no contact, it's a way of life. It's the embodiment of Stoicism, a mindset that prioritizes inner peace over external chaos. And when you embrace it, you don't just become someone he wants to return to, you become someone you're proud to be. 4. Respect for boundaries. Respect, it's a word that carries weight in every relationship, yet its power is often underestimated. When you commit to no contact, you're not just stepping back, you're sending a profound message of respect. Respect for him, respect for the space between you, and most importantly, respect for yourself. Let's start with why this matters. Relationships thrive on balance, and boundaries are the foundation of that balance. When things go wrong, the instinct to overreach through texts, calls, or attempts to fix things is strong. But this instinct often crosses a line. Instead of drawing him closer, it can push him further away. Respecting boundaries isn't about surrendering, it's about showing maturity and strength. When you choose to step back, you're signaling that you value his need for you, for space. But more than that, you're signaling that you value your own dignity. This isn't about playing games or winning. It's about demonstrating that you don't need to beg for attention or validation. You're saying, without words, I honor myself enough to wait and see how things unfold, without forcing anything. Why is this so powerful? Because it's rare. Many people react to separation with panic, grasping for control in an uncontrollable situation. But when you respect boundaries, you defy expectations. You show that you're not just emotionally strong, you're self-aware. You understand that pushing for answers or connection can do more harm than good. From his perspective, this is intriguing. When someone respects his boundaries, it creates a sense of relief. He doesn't feel suffocated or overwhelmed by pressure. Instead, he feels free to process his emotions without interference. This freedom is essential because it allows him to reflect on the relationship in a way that's authentic and unforced. Now, let's talk about the boundaries you're respecting for yourself. No contact isn't just about giving him space. It's about giving yourself the space to heal, grow, and refocus. It's about drawing a line that says, I will not lose myself trying to keep someone else. That kind of self-respect is magnetic. It shows that you're not afraid to let go of what you can't control, and that you're willing to prioritize your own well-being. Stoicism teaches us that suffering comes from trying to control what's beyond our reach. By respecting boundaries, you're embracing this wisdom. You're choosing to focus on your own growth, your own happiness, and your own peace of mind. This isn't just attractive, it's empowering. Imagine this scenario. Weeks have passed since you last spoke. He might have expected a flood of messages, attempts to meet, or some sign that you're struggling without him. Instead, there's silence. Not an angry silence, but a peaceful one. It's the kind of silence that speaks volumes. It tells him, I respect your decision, and I respect myself enough to honor it. This shift changes how he perceives you. He begins to see you as someone who isn't easily shaken, someone who knows her worth. And that respect you've shown, it often inspires respect in return. He starts to wonder what's changed. Why aren't you chasing? Why do you seem so composed? This curiosity can be the spark that brings him back, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Boundaries are also about setting the tone for future actions. By respecting them now, you're establishing a standard for how you want to be treated moving forward. You're showing that you're not willing to compromise your self-worth for anyone, and that kind of strength is unforgettable. Respect for boundaries isn't just about the other person, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing to live with intention. When you embrace this mindset, you're not just navigating no contact, you're transforming how you approach relationships altogether. And when he sees that transformation, he'll know that you're not just someone worth coming back to, you're someone worth staying for. 5. The silent power of absence. Absence has a strange way of amplifying presence. It's in the silence, in the empty spaces, that the weight of what someone brought into your life truly becomes clear. When you embrace no contact, you're not just stepping away, you're giving him the space to realize what your presence meant to him. And trust me, that silence can be deafening. Let's break it down. In the constant flow of messages, calls, and interactions, it's easy for someone to take things for granted. Your voice, your energy, the little ways you made him feel cared for, they become background noise. But when that stops, it's like a song that abruptly ends, leaving nothing but an echo. He notices. Even if he doesn't say it, even if he doesn't act on it immediately, he feels the shift. The power of absence lies in what it creates. Space for reflection, for emotions to settle, and for him to evaluate what really matters. Without the distraction of daily communication, he's left alone with his thoughts. And in that silence, something fascinating happens. He starts to replay the moments you shared. The laughter, the support, the way you made him feel seen and valued. These memories resurface, often stronger than before, because there's nothing to overshadow them. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. By stepping back, you're not manipulating him, you're simply allowing the natural process of reflection to unfold. Stoicism teaches us to let go of what we can't control, and that includes how someone else feels. Instead of chasing or trying to force connection, you're showing faith in the power of time and space. You're saying, without words, I'm here, but I'm not waiting. I trust that if this is meant to be, it will find its way back. From his perspective, this is powerful. Most people react to separation with urgency, trying to fill the void as quickly as possible. But when you choose silence, you're doing something different. You're giving him the opportunity to miss you, not just the surface level "I wonder what she's doing" kind of missing, but the deep, reflective kind. The kind that makes him question why he ever let you go. Absence also has a way of highlighting what's unique about you. In a world filled with constant communication, your decision to step back and focus on yourself stands out. It shows strength, confidence, and emotional maturity, qualities that are undeniably attractive. It's not about being cold or distant, it's about showing that your life doesn't revolve around him. You have your own rhythm, your own purpose, and your own happiness. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine him scrolling through his thoughts late at night. He's replaying moments you shared, and suddenly he's struck by something he hadn't noticed before. Maybe it's the way you always supported his dreams, the way you listened without judgment, or the way you brought light into his world. In that quiet reflection, he begins to see your worth in a new light. That's the silent power of absence. It doesn't demand attention, it draws it naturally. But here's the key. This isn't about waiting for him to come back. The true magic of absence is what it does for you. It's a chance to reclaim your energy, refocus on your goals, and reconnect with yourself. Whether he returns or not, you've already gained something invaluable, a stronger, more centered version of yourself. So, let me ask you, are you embracing the power of absence, or are you resisting it? Are you giving yourself the space to grow, or are you still holding on to the noise? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're navigating this journey. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to show your support. Like this video and drop a number 1 in the comments to let me know this message is hitting home. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another deep dive into Stoicism, relationships, and the art of becoming magnetic. Your journey is just beginning, and trust me, there's so much more to uncover. Let's keep growing together. 6. Growth during the separation. Growth, it's the hidden gift of separation, the silver lining in the midst of what might feel like loss. When no contact begins, it's easy to focus on what's missing. But what if, instead of looking outward, you turned that focus inward? What if this time apart became a period of transformation, a chance to evolve into the best version of yourself? That's the power of growth during separation, and it's one of the most magnetic forces you can harness. Think about it. When was the last time you truly invested in yourself? Not for anyone else, not to prove a point, not to win someone back, but for you. Separation offers a rare opportunity to do just that. It's a chance to step back, reassess, and rediscover what makes you you. Here's the truth. People are drawn to growth. When someone sees that you've taken a difficult situation and turned it into a catalyst for self-improvement, it commands attention. It shows resilience, determination, and a refusal to let circumstances define you. And for him, seeing you grow during the separation can be a wake-up call, a reminder of the person he once admired and a glimpse of the person you're becoming. Growth isn't just about outward changes, it's about inner transformation. It's about cultivating emotional resilience, finding clarity about what you want, and strengthening your sense of self-worth. During this time, you have the chance to ask yourself some important questions. What makes me happy? What are my passions? What do I want to create in my life? These aren't just idle musings, they're the foundation of your future. Now, let's imagine what this looks like. Maybe you've taken up a new hobby, something that lights a spark inside you and gives you a sense of purpose. Maybe you've started focusing on your physical health, channeling your energy into activities that make you feel strong and confident. Or perhaps you've delved into personal development, exploring philosophies like Stoicism to build a more grounded mindset. These changes don't go unnoticed. Whether it's through social media, mutual friends, or simple word of mouth, he begins to see the shifts in your life. He hears about the new project you've taken on, the way you're radiating confidence, or the inner peace you've cultivated. This isn't about making him jealous, it's about showing that you're thriving. And that thriving energy, it's magnetic. From his perspective, this transformation is intriguing. When you were together, he might have known one version of you. But now, after time apart, he's seeing someone who's evolved, someone who's grown stronger, more focused, and more self-assured. That kind of change doesn't just attract attention, it sparks admiration. But here's the thing, this growth isn't just about him, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your power and creating a life that feels rich and fulfilling on its own. When you prioritize your growth, you're not just becoming more attractive to others, you're becoming more aligned with yourself. You're discovering what truly matters to you, and that clarity is invaluable. Growth during separation also serves as a reminder that your worth isn't tied to anyone else. Whether he returns or not, you've gained something far more important, a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. This isn't just a phase, it's a foundation for the rest of your life. As you continue to grow, you'll notice a shift in your own energy. You'll feel more confident, more grounded, and more at peace with where you are. That energy isn't something you can fake, it's something you embody, and when he senses that shift, it can change everything. So embrace this time apart as an opportunity to invest in yourself. Let it be a period of transformation, not stagnation. Dive into your passions, explore your potential, and build a life that excites you. Whether he returns or not, you'll be standing on solid ground, knowing that you've used this time to become the best version of yourself. And that version of you, it's powerful, magnetic, and undeniably unforgettable. 7. Confidence without arrogance. Confidence, it's one of the most universally attractive traits, but there's a subtle art to it. True confidence isn't loud or boastful, it doesn't demand attention or validation. Instead, it's quiet, steady, and deeply rooted in self-awareness. And during no contact, this kind of confidence can be one of your most magnetic assets. Let's talk about the difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is a mask, a projection of insecurity dressed up as superiority. It's about trying to prove something, often by putting others down or seeking excessive validation. But confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It simply exists, radiating a calm assurance that draws people in naturally. When you embrace no contact, you're presented with a unique opportunity to cultivate this kind of confidence. It starts with understanding your worth, not as defined by him, but as defined by you. You're not waiting for someone to validate your value because you already know it. That kind of inner strength speaks volumes, even in silence. Imagine this. Weeks or months have passed since you last spoke. When he thinks of you, he doesn't picture someone stuck in the past or desperately trying to reconnect. Instead, he envisions someone who's thriving, someone who's focused, fulfilled, and entirely unshaken by his absence. That's the essence of confidence without arrogance. This shift isn't about pretending you're fine when you're not. It's about doing the work to genuinely feel grounded and secure. Maybe that means journaling through your emotions, practicing self-care, or leaning into philosophies like Stoicism to cultivate resilience. Whatever path you take, the goal is to find a place of inner peace, a place where your sense of self isn't dependent on external factors. And here's the secret. This kind of confidence is irresistible. Why? Because it's rare. Many people approach no contact with a sense of desperation, hoping their silence will make the other person miss them. But when your silence comes from a place of genuine strength, it creates an entirely different energy. It's not about making him wonder where you are. It's about making him realize that you're perfectly content wherever you are. From his perspective, this confidence is both intriguing and disarming. He might have expected a version of you that's anxious or uncertain, but instead, he sees someone who's fully in control of her own narrative. This contrast is striking. It challenges his assumptions and makes him question what he might have overlooked. Confidence without arrogance also creates a sense of mystery. You're not oversharing or seeking attention, and that leaves room for curiosity. What's she been up to? Why does she seem so calm and composed? This intrigue can be a powerful motivator for him to reach out, not because you've demanded it, but because he genuinely wants to reconnect. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games. Confidence isn't a strategy to get him back. It's a byproduct of the work you've done on yourself. When you prioritize your growth, your passions, and your peace of mind, confidence naturally follows. It's not about making him feel like he's missing out. It's about making yourself feel whole. This kind of confidence also sets the tone for any future interactions. When he does reach out, he'll be met with someone who's clear about her boundaries, her values, and her worth. This isn't about being unapproachable or cold. It's about knowing what you bring to the table and refusing to settle for less. In the end, confidence without arrogance isn't just attractive, it's transformative. It shifts the focus from what you can't control, his actions, his feelings, to what you can, your growth, your mindset. It allows you to approach no contact not as a waiting game, but as an opportunity to strengthen your sense of self. So, as you navigate this journey, ask yourself, am I building confidence for me, or am I trying to prove something to him? Let your confidence come from within, rooted in the knowledge that you are enough, exactly as you are. Because when you embody that truth, you don't just become someone he wants to return to, you become someone he'll never forget. 8. The value of time apart. Time, it's the one thing we often take for granted, yet it holds the power to transform everything. In relationships, time apart isn't just a pause, it's a recalibration. It's the space where emotions settle, clarity emerges, and priorities realign. When you embrace time apart during no contact, you're not just stepping back, you're stepping into a profound opportunity for growth, reflection, and connection. Why does time apart work so powerfully? Because it allows both you and him to see things with fresh eyes. In the heat of a breakup or conflict, emotions can cloud judgment, making it hard to see the truth. But with distance comes perspective. He's no longer focused on the tension or the arguments. Instead, he starts to reflect on the connection you shared, the way you made him feel, and the value you brought into his life. For you, time apart is a chance to heal and grow, It's a space to focus on yourself, to rediscover your passions, and to reconnect with the parts of you that may have been overshadowed by the relationship. This isn't about putting on a performance or pretending you're fine. It's about genuinely investing in your own well-being. Imagine this. Weeks have passed and he hasn't heard from you. At first, he might not think much of it, but as time goes on, the silence becomes noticeable. He starts to wonder, what have you been up to? Why haven't you reached out? And more importantly, why does he feel this growing urge to know? That's the subtle power of time apart. It doesn't force anything. It simply creates the conditions for reflection and curiosity. During this time, he's likely revisiting memories of your relationship. He's remembering the little things, the way you laughed at his jokes, the way you supported his dreams, or the way you made him feel understood. These memories take on a new weight in your absence, and suddenly, what might have seemed ordinary before feels extraordinary. But here's the key. This time apart isn't just about him. It's about you. It's about giving yourself the space to grow, to thrive, and to build a life that feels fulfilling on its own. When you use this time wisely, you're not just waiting for someone to return, you're becoming someone worth returning to. This is where Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology come into play. Instead of clinging to what's lost, you're choosing to focus on what you can control. Your actions, your mindset, and your growth. You're stepping into a place of strength where your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else. That kind of independence and self-assurance is magnetic. From his perspective, your transformation is undeniable. Maybe he sees a photo of you hiking, laughing with friends, or achieving a goal you once talked about. Or maybe he hears through mutual connections that you've been thriving. Whatever it is, it sparks something in him. A realization that you're not just the same person he left behind. You've evolved, and that evolution is impossible to ignore. This time apart also allows you to evaluate what you want. Do you truly want him back? Or are you discovering new possibilities for yourself? Time apart isn't just a tool for reconnection. It's a mirror that reflects your deepest desires and needs. It's a chance to ask yourself, am I pursuing this relationship because it aligns with my values and happiness, or am I holding on out of fear? When he does reach out, and often he will, it won't be because you chased him. It will be because your silence, your growth, and your newfound clarity created a space for him to realize what he might have lost. That kind of connection, born from reflection and growth, is far more meaningful than anything forced or rushed. So, let me ask you, how are you using this time apart? Are you focusing on your growth, your happiness, and your future? Or are you still holding on to the past? Share your journey in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're navigating this transformative period. And if this message resonates with you, take a moment to show your support. Like this video and drop a number 1 in the comments if you're embracing the power of time apart. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can stay connected to more insights about relationships, personal growth, and the art of thriving through challenges. Let's keep growing together. Your story is just beginning, and the best is yet to come. 9. Patience and inner peace. Patience is a virtue often celebrated, yet rarely practiced in the heat of emotional turmoil. During no contact, patience becomes more than a virtue, it becomes a transformative force. It's not just about waiting. It's about how you wait and what you cultivate within yourself during that time. When you approach no contact with patience, you're not holding your breath, waiting for him to come back. Instead, you're embracing the present moment, allowing things to unfold as they're meant to. This isn't passivity. It's active, intentional inner work. It's choosing peace over panic, clarity over chaos. Inner peace, on the other hand, is the calm that comes when you stop trying to control what's beyond your reach. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can. In the context of no contact, This means letting go of the outcome, whether he returns or not, and channeling your energy into your own growth and well-being. Imagine the power of this mindset. Instead of chasing answers or overthinking every silence, you choose to trust the process. You choose to focus on yourself, your passions, your goals, and your happiness. This quiet confidence doesn't go unnoticed. In fact, it's one of the most attractive qualities you can possess. From his perspective, patience and inner peace create an aura of stability that's rare and deeply appealing. In a world where emotional reactions are common, your ability to remain calm and composed sets you apart. He begins to sense that you're not waiting for him. You're living your life fully, with or without him. This shift in energy often sparks curiosity. Why aren't you chasing? How have you managed to stay so grounded? These questions draw him in, without you needing to do anything. Patience also communicates something powerful: self-respect. By choosing not to rush back into contact or push for closure, you're showing that you value yourself enough to wait for the right time, or to move forward if the time never comes. This isn't about pride, it's about honoring your own journey and recognizing that your happiness doesn't depend on his actions. Inner peace, on the other hand, is magnetic because it creates emotional safety. When you project calmness and stability, it makes him feel safe to approach you without fear of judgment or conflict. It's not about pretending you're unaffected. It's about truly finding balance within yourself. This kind of peace is rare, and it's something people are naturally drawn to. Let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture. What does patience really look like during no contact? It's not sitting idly, waiting for the phone to ring. It's actively choosing to trust yourself and the process. It's using this time to explore your interests, deepen your connections with others, and build a life that feels fulfilling on its own. It's understanding that the outcome doesn't define your worth, you do. Patience and inner peace also give you clarity. As time passes, you gain a better understanding of what you truly want. Do you want him back? Or are you discovering that the space between you has revealed new possibilities? By staying calm and focused, you allow yourself to see the situation with fresh eyes, free from the haze of immediate emotions. When he does return, it's often because your patience and peace created the perfect environment for reconnection. He's not drawn back by desperation or pressure, he's drawn back by the stability and strength you've cultivated. This isn't about manipulation, it's about becoming the kind of person who radiates confidence and self-assurance, qualities that are naturally magnetic. In the end, patience and inner peace aren't just tools for navigating no contact, they're tools for life. They remind you that your worth isn't tied to anyone else, and that true strength comes from within. Whether he returns or not, you've already won by choosing to embrace these qualities and make them a part of who you are. That, more than anything, is what makes you unforgettable. As we've journeyed through these 9 profound reasons, it's clear that no contact isn't just a strategy, it's a transformation. When you embrace independence, honor boundaries, cultivate patience, and focus on your own growth, you're not just waiting for him to return. You're reclaiming your own narrative, becoming stronger, more self-assured, and undeniably magnetic. Men often return not because of what you say or do, but because of the energy you exude. Silence speaks volumes when it's filled with self-respect, resilience, and personal evolution. Through the lens of Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology, you've learned to let go of what's beyond your control, channeling your focus into becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, this isn't about manipulation or games. It's about showing yourself that you're enough, regardless of his actions. The time apart isn't just about him realizing your worth, it's about you realizing your own. And when you do, everything changes. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. The most powerful thing you can do in any relationship is to stay true to yourself. Whether he returns or not, you've already achieved something priceless: growth, clarity, and a deeper connection to who you are. If this journey resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Take the lessons you've learned and apply them not just to this relationship, but to every aspect of your life. Because the truth is, the strongest connections, romantic or otherwise, begin with the relationship you have with yourself. Thank you for watching, reflecting, and growing with me today. If you're inspired by these insights, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. How have you embraced no contact in your life? What transformations have you experienced? Let's keep this conversation alive. And if this video added value to your journey, don't forget to like, comment number 1, and subscribe for more content that empowers and uplifts you. Together, we're not just learning, we're evolving. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and keep shining. You're on a path to something extraordinary. Let's keep walking it together.